Welcome to Layer the Alchemist, where we discuss all things heavy metal and hard rock. On today's episode, another in my series of what I call milestone moments. These are moments and albums in a band's career where everything seems to come into focus. It can even be an album that starts a whole new genre of music and a whole new way of playing. So, the artist in the album that I've picked for today is Yngwie Malmsteen's Rising Force, his 1984 self-titled album. So, Yngwie, Swedish virtuoso guitar player, he sends a demo tape over to Mike Varney, who at the time, and still to this day, runs Shrapnel Records. Shrapnel Records was a label that specialized in virtuosic guitar playing, guitar albums, shred albums, and stuff like that. And at the time, Mark Varney had a column in Guitar Player magazine where unknown guitarists could send their demos in. It was a guitar spotlight. There was, I believe, 3 guitar players that he would always feature. And he did a feature on Yngwie, and of course realized this guy is something special. So he brings him over from Sweden, puts him in a band with Ron Keel called Steeler, kind of pedestrian LA metal for that time. Yngwie's gone before you know it. He's in a band with Graham Bonnet, Alcatraz. They release a studio album and a live album, and at this time Yngwie's already recording his first solo album, and he quickly leaves Alcatraz. Now at this time in 1984, I was really into Randy Rhoads and that whole sort of classical metal sound. And I was always searching for things that had that vibe to them. So I was also into Ritchie Blackmore, who had that element to his sound, and Rainbow and Deep Purple, Uli Roth. And when I heard Yngwie Malmsteen, I heard this on college radio, and I was just absolutely blown away, and I had to get this record. And when I got this was just a game changer for me, because although Randy and Uli Roth and Ritchie had elements of classical to their playing, it was also mixed in with blues playing. On this record, it is 100% neoclassical guitar. I don't know if there's a blues lick on this whole record. And just everything about it. The album cover is great. Yngwie on the back here, just fantastic. So I was just floored by this. And at this time, nobody was playing like this. Eddie Van Halen was playing fast. Blackmore was playing fast. Uli played fast. Schenker was pretty fast. But nobody was this fast, this clean, with that kind of guitar sound. It was really a game changer. Way back, I made a video of this sort of a timeline video of important guitar players. And I said that Hendrix, Van Halen, and Yngwie for guys that just changed overnight. The same way that when guitar players heard Eruption on the first Van Halen record, it was a whole new era. When Yngwie came onto the scene, it changed everything. Everybody's chops at that point, everybody had to elevate their chops. Everybody had to work the sweep picking into their playing, these sort of diminished and neoclassical runs. That just became a thing then. And then the whole like Mike Varney, Shrapnel, guitar virtuoso shredder thing, this it all started with this, and it all went these sort of instrumental shred albums. Jason Becker, Marty Friedman, Vinnie Moore, all these guys that came after this owe a certain amount of debt to Yngwie Malmsteen and this first album. Now, this isn't a 100% instrumental record. You've got Yngwie, of course, on guitar, and he also plays bass. Barrymore Barlow on drums, who had an extended stint with Jethro Tull, so he was kind of an interesting choice to land on this sort of heavy metal neoclassical album. Jens Johansson on keyboards, an amazing keyboard player, and Jeff Scott Soto on vocals. And really, there's only 2 songs with vocals on here, and the vocals even kind of come in They're not even that in the songs really that long. They're sort of in and out of the song. So really the bulk of this album is instrumental guitar stuff, and it starts off right out of the gate. I love the production on it. It was produced by Yngwie. It's kind of lo-fi. Yngwie sort of looks down on it now, but it has a real kind of sounds like it was recorded in a church or something. You know, it has a real reverby, echoey vibe. It's not super slick or anything. The instruments have a little bit of a distant feel to it, but to me it totally adds to the atmosphere of the whole thing. So the album starts with Black Star, this acoustic guitar, and at that time, man, I've mentioned this before in my other videos, is that three things that always get me: a tolling bell screams epic, a acoustic guitar, like classical style acoustic guitar, epic, and a choir. When you're at a choir just going like ah in it or something like that, to me, like at the end of Diary of a Madman, just adds this element to it that I love. So Black Star starts off like that, and there's this sort of ostinato repeated bass line, and Yngwie playing all these lines over the top, and at this point with Yngwie, yeah, believe me, there's chops almighty all over this record. But he also had a real keen sense of melody at this time. And there's, like here in Black Star, there's all these nice layered guitar melody themes that come back in. And then it changes like the mode where it's like these diminished runs. And he was known for using these scales, these Phrygian scales that had a real sort of ominous feel to him. Something that Blackmore and Randy and Uli had used at times. You know, I think back to Uli Roth, and I just forgot the name of the song. Da 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 dun 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 da da dun. Dark Night. God, I just forgot. I'm drawing a complete blank on what the name of this song is. I love that. Sails of Charon. Jeez, what the heck? Right, an amazing song, and to me, that's sort of like the seed planted for Yngwie. That scale that Uli uses in Sails of Charon is sort of like Yngwie made a career out of that vibe, that scale, and you hear that here in Black Star. Far Beyond the Sun is another like very anthemic. Again, at this point, Yngwie had a lot of melody to his playing. There were a lot of great themes. Very much Yngwie composed like a classical composer, like a Mozart or a Bach. Those were his influences. He cites Hendrix and Ritchie Blackmore, but really his biggest influences are classical: Mozart, Bach, Paganini, and you hear all that in his playing. Now Your Ships Are Burned, that's one of the ones with vocals. I love that like intro guitar riff, down ba 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 ba. And there were people that played fast before Yngwie. You know, I mentioned Eddie Van Halen earlier, certainly Randy Rhoads, but man, Yngwie was so clean and so precise. His guitar sound is not super distorted. It's almost clean. It has this real glass, smooth like quality to it, and it really makes it so you can hear all the notes. You know, sometimes when other guitar players play fast, it gets a little sort of jumbled up, but with Yngwie, it was like you could hear every note as it went by in these long lines. So it's absolutely great. Evil Eye is one that I maybe my favorite on this record, because it has that start stop, do da 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 da. You know, it has sort of like a little bit of a groove to it, and a couple times where it stops and he does those fast like runs. There's one of them where the acoustic guitar just does this like it's like he starts down low and just like covers like the entire neck of the guitar in like the span of like 2 seconds or something. It's absolutely incredible, and I love sort of the main when it's sort of the main theme kicks in. Really just sort of classical, but so majestic and epic sounding. Icarus Dream Suite, another fantastic. As Above, So Below, Little Savage, and then this sort of a little thing at the end, Farewell. So just an absolutely incredible album. It creates, in a lot of ways, the neoclassical guitar shred genre. And at this time, man, this was just, I couldn't get enough of this, and this was so awesome. I remember not having any idea how to pronounce his name until I heard it. I don't even think the DJs on the college radio station had any idea how to pronounce his name. But this is just an amazing record that I return to very often and just totally dig. I also loved the next couple records that Yngwie did. Marching Out, I thought was incredible. Trilogy was great. The album with Joe Lynn Turner is fantastic. And really after that, I started losing him. I really loved this one, Marching Out, and Trilogy. And then after that, I sort of lost him. It seemed like he seemed to lose some of the sense of melody that he had on here. This has still got the blazing chops, but there was a real sense of melody on this record that he seemed to lose as time went on. So for me, this is just an all-time classic. And if you're tracing the history of heavy metal guitar, this is an absolutely essential album in that timeline. So, all right, let me know what you guys think of Yngwie Malmsteen. I know that he's a lot of people very divided on his later catalog, but what about this one? What about this album? Any guitar players out there? Were you around back then, and what did you think when you heard this? Did it just blow you away the way it blew me away? So let me know down in the comments what you guys think of this groundbreaking, game-changing record, Yngwie J. Malmsteen's Rising Force. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and until we see you again, make sure you stay heavy, stay metal.